Before we get started, this video was recorded live on Twitch. You can also join our Discord community in the description to watch the streams, as well as connect with fellow producers, vocalists, engineers, and graphic artists to collaborate and to just hang out with. I'll start streaming on YouTube soon as well, but for now you can catch me at twitch.tv/m_emblem. Let's start off all the way back to the very beginning. My first track I ever posted on SoundCloud 8 years ago. Yeah, the quick 1 minute intro I got going on here. It just gets louder and louder. All right, that goes on for like 5 minutes, but you can see that was where I started, just dead mouse. I mean, this was the shit back then. I mean, producing beats was just like based on house music and stuff for me. So that's where I started. So if I made a track like that now, I would say the snare is really, really kind of soft. Like it might fit because you don't want it to be super hard hitting. Also vary up the chords a bit. I was just happy that I made my own chords in that track. There we go. Track 1 down. All right, now this second one was 6 years ago. So I was really on and off when I was making my tracks. I'd make something feel good and then I'd just completely off it for like months, to the point where I'd just like forget how to produce music, then go back into it and try and figure it out from the start. So this was 2 years later. I remember this was around Chinese New Year. So I was on break and I just spent like 3 days making this one song. You know what? That isn't the worst thing in the world. I'm pleasantly surprised. I remember I made this with the 3x oscillator in FL Studio because I wanted to start doing like sound design, but I wasn't any good at it. But you can kind of see how it evolved just the tiniest bit from going away from traditional house music to kind of like whatever I wanted to do. So this is now 2 years ago. So this is not like old at all, really. You can see I'm starting to evolve my sound. Maybe only 2 years ago. I think that was around the time that I was in transition between FL Studio and Ableton. And this was when I started messing around with drum samples. I mean, this one was programmed in Contact, and it sounds super realistic. And you can see I'm starting to put more heavy emphasis on the percussion, which is more of like what I go off nowadays. All right. Yeah, I got a lot of these things here. Yeah, that one's not bad, actually. I think, yeah, I had a good balance with the bass there and the kick. Like, it was very subby, but it kind of worked in a way to create good movement. The keys are from a Korg M1 VSC that I used a lot, so it's very housey. Yeah, it was kind of like 3 mid-low frequencies going on at once. It gets kind of hectic. Each idea rhythmically sort of goes with and against each other at the same time, to the point where it kind of molds together, which isn't a bad thing, but certainly not an approach I would take nowadays. Okay, we got a few more to go, but like right before I switched to just got the contact piano, and I used a lot of velocity changes to make it feel more lively. And this is when you can start to see me break from a general house mold and try and go a little different direction, because it's all just part of finding your sound. Like, you never know what kind of impact whatever you make will have on your future music. I think the mix definitely increased a lot. I probably made a bunch of tracks in between that. I think just making more tracks is what fixes a lot of my mix. Yeah, that's not half bad. I resampled my own piano and my own like synth, but I remember I had trouble defining the rest of that track and adding elements because it was kind of like stuck for me. I spent too much time like listening to the loop and the sample, and after that it was just a process of like fighting with myself to finish this song. So that's why it's sort of unfinished. Oh, another Brockhampton flip. That's not even bad. You can see my evolution of trying to find that balance between house and anything else in the genres, and I was having a lot of fun making tracks like this that weren't necessarily your typical house song. Here's a beat I made 6 months ago. All right, and then we have some more to go. Why not? I think this is where I'm showing my old songs that I actually released and then subsequently made private. Now you can see I'm starting to try and break some sort of mold or trying to make my own type of music. Obviously, it doesn't reflect in the plays, but for me, I really liked that song. I was using different kick patterns. Maybe they weren't good. I was using different hi-hats. Hopefully, I can play this on YouTube when I upload it.
There's a life outside that did. So why don't you lose yourself? Lose yourself. Don't you lose yourself? Why don't you lose yourself? Lose yourself.
I like that song a lot. I think the mix was really shit. But that bass line I came up with, contact preset, I believe, and then a sub layer. It had some good ideas. I like the bass line and everything. It's starting to strike a balance of where I am now. I think this release really helped to define me because my Kenny Beats, the Beat Battle win, is reflected in this song a lot. This is now going into when I started Ableton and when I started making music with my friends. And that took up 99% of my time for music, like all of my time. And up until like 3 months ago. And we released a lot of stuff and it wasn't that bad. You can start to see that I started going into the hip hop world. And this was when I was doing a lot of songwriting with my friends too, and it was just so fun. This really boosted my music. This album, Restless, yes, this was my first album ever released in 2018, yeah, so just about 2 years now.
She throw it back, toss the stacks, hit my max, yeah. She popping pills, give me chills, need my fill, yeah. You acting tough, had enough, pour one out, yeah. We back and forth,
yeah, you can see that I started really trying to mess with the idea of what a hip hop R&B sound would be like. It obviously has a lot of inspiration. Yeah, what else is there? All right, we'll show you some more stuff. So we also each had solo tracks based on Toronto, Montreal, and then this was my solo track. But yeah, that's me going through a lot of my old music.